It is time for F124. Yes, F124 is here. I'm a little bit late getting to this video. I didn't get the early access to the game, so I only got it on the 1st of June, and it's taken me a little while to get this video going. I had a fairly busy weekend, things going on, but we are here now for F124. Now the first thing, we're going to speed through this initial stuff. First thing we're going to do is look at the calendar, 16 race calendar starting in Bahrain. We will then go to Saudi Arabia. Round 3 will be in Australia. Then we go to Japan for round 4, China back on the calendar for round 5, then Imola round 6, we're going to Monaco for round 7, then to Canada for round 8, Austria round 9, Great Britain for round 10, we're then in Belgium for round 11, Monza for round 12, a couple of skips there, Texas, US Grand Prix for round 13, Brazil round 14, Las Vegas round 15, and Qatar round 16. That is the 16 race calendar we are going for this season. As for my academy, I'm going for the Mercedes Driver Academy because of the specific team I'm going to choose for this season. Now, we can choose any team here because this isn't my team. We're not doing my team this year. We're doing the Driver Career mode because it's had quite an overhaul, especially compared to my team. Driver Career is the main thing for this game in a lot of ways. And the team we're going to go for, I wanted to go somewhere kind of in the middle on R&D, and we're going for Aston Martin. So we're going to be driving for Aston Martin in this career mode, at least for the first season. We will definitely change at some point. We might change next season. We'll have to wait and see. Choosing our teammate, of course, we have the option of being teammates with Lance Stroll or Fernando Alonso. And although Lance Stroll would be an easier driver to be a teammate with, we're going to be with Fernando Alonso. We're going to take Lance Stroll's seat, so he will not be on the grid this season. I'm sure he will rock up next season or definitely in future seasons, but for now, Lance Stroll is no longer on the grid. We are alongside Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin in this first season of Driver Career Mode. Very exciting stuff. Let's get into it.
Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff. Merchandising, likeness, blah, blah, blah. But the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
Alright, so we're going to sign our contract for Aston Martin, and I'm not going to go over everything. We're very quickly going through this stuff here today, but I have to set my rating, my RTG rating. My current rating is 65. I'm going to go 67. I didn't know how high to go. I didn't want to go too high. 67 may be a bit too easy. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, but for now, that is the RTG we're going for. I'm already high at 65, so maybe 67 is a little bit too easy, but maybe we can change it later on. Let's have a look at the grid. I really love how they're doing that grid thing now. I hope that happens every season. It'd be nice if it changes around depending on where, you know, each constructor finishes in the order. I doubt that's going to be the case. It would be really cool if that is the case, but I don't think it will be. But it's still a cool thing to see. And here we go, myself and Fernando Alonso sitting down to get ready for our first Grand Prix, the Bahrain Grand Prix. This season, of course, I simulated, sorry, I didn't simulate practice because you have to actually do practice for the first round, but I'm not going to show practice. We're getting straight into qualifying. So, F124, brand new handling model. I've heard a lot of people complaining not being a big fan of this handling model. What do I think of it? It's definitely different. It is definitely different. I didn't have as many issues with it as I thought. Before going into this qualifying session here, I did do a quick little race, quick little mess around earlier on before starting this career mode, and yeah, I thought the handling model was definitely different, but it didn't bother me that much. I think I do prefer the old handling model, but I don't think it's going to take me too long to get used to it. End of Q1, Fernando's up there in P2, showing some good pace in this car. We are there P14. I only did one run, so you know there was definitely more pace there, but a bit close for comfort getting knocked out. Daniel Ricciardo P20 in the RB. Very unfortunate for him, being dead last in this first round of the season. But yeah, the handling, I feel like I'm going to get used to pretty quickly. It's not that crazy. There are other things that I think are going to take me a little bit longer to get used to other than the handling. One of those being the ERS and how that works, because ERS is very different in this game. You have to be messing around with the ERS deployment modes a lot, and even using overtake in qualifying. That's something I've never had to do before, actually use overtake mode in quali. Usually you just have it on hot lap and it's just the quickest possible thing, but no, you actually use overtake in quali now as well, and there's a lot more ERS management in the actual race as well. Better lap in Q2, P4 for myself. Alonso's still up there in P2, so Alonso showing some very good pace. We're only a 10th off him though, so we're pretty close there. I will just mention that the difficulty, the calculator, the F1 calculator that I usually use isn't up and running yet. It might be by this point. I'd say probably not, but when I recorded this, it definitely wasn't up, because I did record this on the 1st of June, the first day it was properly out, and I expect it probably won't be up for another week or so at least. So yeah, difficulties is going to be potentially a little bit off for these first few races, especially because, you know, I'm kind of doing a rough, what I did for this one, I basically did went into a Grand Prix session, did a one-shot qualifying, and you know, kind of tried to get close with the AI on lap time, but especially in this game more so than before, because of the differences in the handling, and you know, figuring out when and where to use ERS and stuff like that, there are a lot more variables. So I'm kind of setting my difficulty based on those first couple of tries that I do, and I'm generally gonna get better as I play the game more and as I drive on a track more. So do expect my difficulty to be a little bit off maybe for these first couple of races. I'm going to be honest, for this one I think it was pretty good. I could have maybe put it a couple of ticks higher, but it wasn't terrible. You know, it wasn't a terrible difference in you know, in difficulty, and the Aston Martin in this game is quite a bit quicker than it is in real life in 2024. So I ended up qualifying P5, beating Alonso, although only by just over a tenth of a second, so it is still very close for us. It's Max Verstappen on pole position, Charles Leclerc alongside him on the front row. So Zhou Guanyu, let me just say, Kick Sauber are very quick in this game for some reason. He's there in 7th. So yeah, that is the order for this Bahrain Grand Prix. So let's get into it. This is going to be our first race on F1 24.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Shaw, Oscar Piastri, Zhou, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Bottas, Perez, Albon, Tsunoda, Sargent, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Ricciardo, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Now it's a new season, plenty of new opportunities, but I think I'm going to start with a question we may have asked last year as well. Can anyone stop Max Verstappen?
That's what they're hoping for. And that's what we're hoping for as well in some ways, because we don't want to see just one driver or one team running away with it this season like we had last year or even the years gone by in this sport. Can we get to see a two-way or even a three- or four-way fight throughout this race today? Fingers crossed we'll get that.
All right, here we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2024, the first race on F1 24. We're starting P4 because Perez has a grid penalty. Away we go. It is not the best start in the world. Zhou Guanyu gets an absolutely electric start. He's going for a move on Lando Norris for P3 in this race. See, I told you the Saubers are absolutely rapid as Piastri dives at the inside of us and we get an illegal overtake. What is that about? I have to let Piastri go through. He didn't even go past me. I don't understand how that was an illegal overtake. So now we've lost 2 positions off the start now. The one to Piastri especially was a bit of bullshit. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why we've had to give up that position, and now we're squirming around a little bit. I'm pulling up my MFD sort of thing, whatever you call it, because I need to start managing the ERS, and that's something I'm going to have to look into in the future. One, just how to manage ERS better, but also maybe changing it to a different button. I'm playing on my Logitech G29 wheel, as I always do on the F1 games. However, I am now on PC. I usually play on PS5, PS4. I am now playing on PC, so that means for future seasons we can do mods and stuff, which I'm very excited about. This first season, though, will be an unmodded season. But, yeah, very excited for the future of this game. But it does mean, I mean, getting used to the game, it's no different in that regard because I'm still using my wheel. So that's all going to be the same, really. But, yeah, got to get used to this whole ERS thing. And as you can see, we have dropped back a little bit from Piastri. Really do not understand why that was an illegal overtake. He kind of did a bit of a dive bomb up the inside, made a little bit of contact. I don't think there was any damage between either of us, but for some reason we got told it was an illegal overtake. I don't know what that was all about there, but we finished lap 1 in P6, so we've lost 2 positions off the start, and Zhou Guanyu is sitting in P3 in the Sauber. That is ridiculous. I don't know why Sauber are so quick in this game. At the front, though, onto lap 2, and Charles Leclerc is trying to go for a move for the lead of this race. Can Verstappen actually... Well, will Verstappen run away with the championship this year, or will Leclerc and maybe some others be able to fight him to it? Well, Leclerc manages to get past Verstappen on lap 2. However, onto lap 3, Verstappen's coming back at him. Remember that DRS is enabled after lap 1. After 1 lap of racing, DRS is enabled now on this game in F1 24. So Verstappen on lap 3 comes back at Leclerc once again. Leclerc's going to try and see if he can sit behind him. And there, Verstappen goes defensive to the inside. Leclerc's going to try and go round the outside of this next corner. Remember as well, look in here, Leclerc's actually on soft tyres. Verstappen's on mediums, so Leclerc does get back ahead of Verstappen again, but there is a tyre offset. And this battle keeps on going on, just showing how quick the Red Bull really is, even on the medium tyres. As now into the final corner, Verstappen's already sizing up a move on Leclerc, who's defensive already as they head down the front straight. It's awesome seeing the bright green cars behind. They look really, really good, and having one up in 3rd place is quite crazy because in real life, Sauber are probably the slowest car this year. But in this game, they seem to be pretty rapid. You know, Zhou in 3rd. Bottas is even in the top 10. Verstappen, though, gets back into the lead on lap 4. We're still hooked up behind Piastri and Norris at the moment, just trying to get used to the handling, trying to get used to the ERS deployment. I'm using a lot of ERS, and I noticed in the replays my rear lights were flashing a lot, which I always thought meant it either means low battery.
Engine's running very hot. Engine very hot. Let's try and pull out from behind the car in front to cool things down.
Then we get our engineer telling us that our engine is hot, so that's something to keep an eye on. Although time over temp never goes, it never comes up, so I don't actually think this is an issue. It's more of just a little objective that it gives us. But here I'm messing around with my MFD because I'm like, what, is the engine getting too hot? And that lets Hamilton go shooting up the inside because I'm just not paying attention with the ERS. I had no ERS deployment on, and that has really stuffed me over there. And now actually Alonso is coming up behind us as well. but I'm going to be able to defend him. But yeah, like I was saying, ERS deployment is a tricky thing in this game. I think the flashing lights was just because I had low ERS. I never got down, you know, to 0% ERS, but I was getting pretty close to it, you know, into the single digits at some points as I kind of let Alonso pass, but then Sainz also comes past as well. I didn't want to let Sainz pass. I was kind of just letting Alonso go because I thought he's quicker than me at the moment. I'll let him go, but unfortunately Sainz managed to squash his way through as well, and Bottas is now right up behind us as well, just showing how quick that Sauber is. But we are gonna stay ahead of him, but now we've got to try and see if we can get past Sainz again. As a few laps later, the leaders have come into the pits. Piastri is leading the way, but he's coming into the pits now. We're coming in with Sainz as well. So that is going to leave pretty much everybody, I think, is coming into the pits now. So I think Verstappen or Leclerc, whoever was in front, is going to regain the lead of this race. We're on to a set of medium tyres, held in the pits for a little bit there, with some cars also coming out. Bottas shoves himself in behind us. He's gotten ahead of Piastri here, who's onto a set of hards. We're onto a set of mediums. Some other drivers on different strategies as well. It is looking like a two-stop for this race, but people doing different two-stops. We're planning on going soft to medium to hard, so we'll see how that works for us. Cold tyres, as we get going here, a little bit more noticeable on this game, I think, colder tyres. So that's something to also take into consideration. But for now, we managed to stay ahead of Bottas and just about stay within DRS of Sainz. There's now a big battle going on ahead of us as Hamilton is trying to get past Zhou. Hamilton's actually had a really good pit stop and has jumped Sainz and Alonso. I think he might have already, maybe he was already ahead of them? I can't quite remember. I think he was actually, wasn't he? But now he's trying to get past Zhou, who is now starting to fall back a little bit, you know, had very good pace at the start of this race and is still doing a very good job, sitting up in, what, P6 at the moment. And he is holding up Hamilton and the rest of us, because look at this train now. You've got Zhou, you've got Hamilton, you've got myself, Alonso, Sainz. There's cars back all the way back to Magnussen, I think, in this big train here. I mean, look at all these cars. This time though, at lap 14 onto 15, Hamilton manages to get past Zhou. Zhou's trying to have a look back up behind Hamilton though, but he's not going to be able to do anything because now Alonso is going to dive on Zhou, and Sainz dives as well. It is 3 wide into turn 1. Sainz then ruffles his way past Alonso and Zhou carries on up ahead. Meanwhile, further up the road, Leclerc's unfortunately dropped back a bit from Verstappen, but Norris is now having some good pace and he's now fighting with Leclerc for P2. Leclerc's on another set of soft tyres, Norris is on mediums now. So once again, it is a bit of a different tyre strategy going on here. You can see Verstappen just a little bit further ahead now, but there is this battle for P2 and Lando Norris manages to get himself up into that second position. So he's looking for a good podium in this race. We continue on with Alonso, Sainz and Zhou up ahead. As you can see, Zhou really struggling at this point on those tyres. Alonso comes into the pits on this lap for his pit stop, his next and what should be final pit stop. Zhou's having a look at a move on Sainz, but it's a little bit of a difficult one, especially with the you know, he's on quite old soft tyres by this point where Sainz is on hards. We're going to come in this lap. We come in the same time as Sainz, so he's done the same stint as us on hards that we've done on medium. So definitely, although we're going slightly different strategies, we're coming in at the same time pretty much, because now we're onto a set of hards. I say Sainz is on a set of hards as well. So Sainz has gone what? Soft hard hard, or was it medium hard hard? He's done a bit of a weird strategy there, not using one of the compounds at all. We've used all 3 compounds. We're going to come out of the pits and we're going to be ahead of Sainz and Hamilton, so of Zhou and Hamilton, sorry. So we've managed to jump them, so that is very good for us. Now Sainz is ahead. He is looking pretty good in this race at the moment, but we're going to stick behind him here. Alonso's a little bit further up ahead of us as well. He's looking pretty good as well. We have an objective to overtake Sainz by lap 25 or something. We're going to try and do it at the start of lap 21 as we make him go defensive. We're going to go to the outside, go down into turn 1, and I think we get our first proper on-track overtake of this race. Yeah, a lot of being stuck behind cars, quite difficult to overtake at times, but we finally get a move done. and we're now up into P7, but there are cars ahead of us like Ricardo and I think Sonoda as well, actually, both Red Bulls, RBs, not Alpha Tauris, not Red Bulls, RBs, up ahead of us. Sainz, though, who we've just managed to get past, gets back past us again. We don't quite have the ERS to fight with that one, and don't have the DRS either, so we have to settle for falling behind Sainz at that point in time. But now we're going to try and get back at him again, because I've noticed, I mean, look how powerful the ERS is. When you're boosting ERS and you have DRS, it is so powerful, and we fly our way past Sainz, laid on the brakes, just about get stopped, and now we've actually caught up to Alonso and are now within a second of him. And as we now go down the main straight, he's not looking particularly quick because we have the ERS. We're just using it as much as we can. He goes quite defensive on us, but we are going to get the position into the corner, and we're now up into P4, and second and third of Norris and Leclerc are now right in front of us. So these guys battling each other. There's now a 17.5 second gap from Norris to Verstappen at the front. So these guys have been slowing each other down massively. They're fighting it out still. We're just behind them here. We could be sniffing for a podium in our first ever race in F1 24 in the Aston Martin. That is not something I expected to say here. On this occasion, though, second to last lap, Leclerc gets himself back ahead of Lando Norris to put himself back up into second place in this race. But as we now head round the final corner onto the final lap of this race, we've saved up a little bit of overtake here to see if we can make a move, and Norris's lights are flashing. He's harvesting energy. He's not using energy. Neither is Leclerc down the front straight. They are so slow. We've got plenty of energy to use, and we're going to get a double overtake into turn one. We're up not just into third place, but we're into second place in our first ever race. Sainz and Alonso, the two Spaniards, are side by side behind us as well. We're now just going to try and hold these guys off, go quite defensive, because we don't have too much ERS to play with now, but still racing fair here. These guys are quicker than us, but they may have just lost their chance at getting past, and we managed to keep above 25% ERS energy as we head round the final corner. We're going to cross the line, and we're going to come second in our first ever race in F1 24. It's a podium position in Bahrain in 2024. What a result for us. Norris comes home P3. I think Alonso was about P5. So yeah, not expected, but damn, that worked out.
For another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win.
Well, you're always unsure of the competition and what your opponents have been able to do in the off-season, Crofty, but they've come here today, they've delivered the performance that you dream about, and wow, did they make that car sing today. Really impressive stuff.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
And there we have it. That is this race done. So yeah, second place for us, fifth place for Alonso. Pretty damn good result in the end, and a good result for the team. We're actually now leading the Constructors' Championship after round one, so that is pretty damn good. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.